What if I told you that the Silk Road wasn't just about silk, spices, and caravans crossing the desert? That behind the dusty pages of trade lies a forgotten history, a web of secrets, spies, religions, and revolutions that shaped civilizations far beyond empires and markets. The Silk Road was more than a highway of goods. It was a living, breathing organism that connected minds, hearts, and cultures. Stay with me, because what you're about to discover will change how you see one of the most misunderstood routes in human history. When we hear the term Silk Road, most of us picture camels marching across the desert, carrying precious goods between China and the West. But this image barely scratches the surface of what this ancient trade route truly represented. Stretching over 7,000 kilometers, the Silk Road was never a single path, but a sprawling network of trails, cities, and ports that connected East Asia to Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. While silk and spices made the route famous, the true power of the Silk Road was in the exchange of ideas, beliefs, and knowledge. One of the most forgotten stories of the Silk Road is how it became a vessel for religion. Buddhism, for instance, spread from India into Central Asia and China thanks to monks traveling with traders. Caves in Dunhuang, China, are filled with ancient Buddhist art that wouldn't exist without this cultural transmission. Islam, Christianity, and Zoroastrianism also traveled along these roads, reshaping regions far from their origins. And then there were the spies. Yes, you heard that right. The Silk Road was a hotbed for espionage. Empires like the Tang dynasty and the Byzantine Empire sent agents disguised as traders to gather intelligence. The secrets they uncovered, military strategies, political tensions, even inventions, often shaped the fate of entire kingdoms. This ancient trade route was as political as it was commercial. But not all exchanges were peaceful. Nomadic tribes like the Xiongnu, and later the Mongols, didn't just use the Silk Road, they controlled it. Under Genghis Khan, the Mongol Empire created the largest land empire in history, securing the Silk Road under what's known as the Pax Mongolica. During this time, trade flourished, but so did surveillance, control, and conquest. And yet, even the Mongols contributed to the exchange of technology, art, and even cuisine. Speaking of cuisine, did you know that the Silk Road influenced what we eat today? Noodles from China inspired pasta in Italy. Spices from India changed medieval European cooking forever. Even the humble peach made its way west along this route. The Silk Road didn't just feed markets, it fed cultures. Another untold chapter is the role of women. While men often led the caravans, women ran businesses in the Silk Road cities. In places like Samarkand and Bukhara, they owned inns, sold textiles, and negotiated trade. Some even acted as diplomats and translators. Their stories, though largely erased from textbooks, are stitched into the economic fabric of the region. And then there was science. Arabic numerals, Chinese papermaking, Indian astronomy, all traveled along this vast network. The Silk Road history is filled with examples of how knowledge moved faster than armies. European scholars later benefited from texts preserved and translated in Silk Road cities, lighting the spark for the Renaissance. But perhaps the most profound legacy of the Silk Road isn't found in gold or empires. It's found in connection. In a world before phones, planes, or the internet, the Silk Road was humanity's first global web, a place where a Persian doctor could learn from an Indian scholar, where a Chinese alchemist could be inspired by Greek philosophy, and where cultures met not just in conflict, but in collaboration. Today, many of these ancient cities lie in ruins. Sand has buried roads. Borders have changed. Yet, the spirit of the Silk Road survives in every idea, invention, or dish that traces its origins back to that forgotten highway. So next time you hear the words Silk Road, remember, it wasn't just about trade, it was about transformation.